I've had the pleasure of traveling to the Cannes Film Festival with this whole group. I think those are times when we really get to know each other and we share our passions, through which we are building a stronger community of Chennaiites who look at world cinema and who will re-look at Tamil cinema in different ways, not just as entertainment, but entertainment as well as a deeper social comment and observation on things in society, and as a documentation, historical documentation of social practices. That is how I think many of us look at cinema. In that way that we are having a 3-film festival. I saw the synopsis, went through in detail about the first film because I intend to catch it today. I've called some of my friends whom I thought would be interested. That these 3 films are going to give us an insight into this country we've heard so much. I think my first introduction to South Africa was when I was reading about Mahatma Gandhi as a primary school student. My experiments with truth. So while reading a book, South Africa, became colorful, presented itself as a nation which had influenced the father of my nation. And further on, following when Nelson Mandela got the Nobel Award and so many other things, and how Gandhiji had inspired Mandela, which he was repeating, until his end, and that way there was a lot of exposure to what South Africa was in some ways. So in 2008, when I took a trip to South Africa, it was really an opening for me to go through Johannesburg and taking the ostrich ride is the typical tourist things, but doing other stuff too. So I think this 3 festival, there's a press friend, a Tamil press friend who had called me when I mentioned that I'm just going here, because he said, South African films, we want to watch it. I think the first film was Gods Must Be Crazy. How many of you have seen Gods Must Be Crazy? I think I was in school and we enjoyed it so much.
I was looking at the history of South African film industry, and I find that their film industry is as old as Indian film industry. They also started early 20th century, started making films, and over a period of years, they have developed a good, strong film industry, which is not only vibrant, and they make some wonderful films as well. I was looking at the prize-winning films made in South Africa. Some of them are District 9, as ma'am was referring to, then Sotsi, Yesterday, and You Kaman E Khatfalia. So there are quite a few good films which have been made in South Africa, and of course none of them figure in this festival. Probably they will be coming in the next film festival, which they are planning sometime in December, or maybe in the 2nd edition of South African Film Festival they will be conducting next year. Not only South African film industry is doing well, even the foreign filmmakers find South Africa a great location for making their films. So you must have seen many English movies which have great South African locales as their place for shooting. So as a whole, we'll have 3 days of great entertainment waiting for us, and I'm sure all of you, especially the film-loving fraternity of Chennai, would be enjoying it.
This film festival takes place within the context of the 20th anniversary of our freedom. 20 years ago, President Nelson Mandela became the first democratically elected president of the Republic. And 20 years later, we then had our first South African Film Festival in Chennai. And we would gradually thank the organizers and the people of Chennai to afford South Africa an opportunity to display part of its art. South Africa has always displayed very creative and intrinsic dramatic personalities. We are a loud people. We like chanting. We like partying. So we like raising our voice especially when we have our concerns. There's something that we call madolo phezulu. I can't do it now. You could see there's been dramatic public opinion development. I'm saying you could see. So, but long time ago, as slender as I was, I could raise my hand. You see, as we say, so we have an inherent ability to tell a story. In this way, it makes perfect sense that our film industry has grown over the years and our country has become a prime location for film production, including India. Many of you would know now that one of India's biggest award-winning films was shot in Cape Town, Slumdog Millionaire. In fact, more and more Bollywood filmmakers have interest in South Africa as a location. Like he said, it's not even the American. Some of them you'll see them in most of Tata Sky, Justice, it's Steven Seagal, and more of this who's this guy who just passed away from Fast and Furious. Yes, George Walker, Paul Walker. Yes, you see, I already thought of George Orwell. You know, yeah. So these are some developments that have been.